Good morning. This is Morning Thoughts with Teresa Beam because I think best as I watch the sunrise. Another podcast on the things no one wants to talk about because they are offensive or make us uncomfortable because they're hard to hear. And we all want easy, so we immediately begin listing excuses as to why we are exempt from the topic somehow. Okay, now for the topic I want to bring out today: raising Christian children. The statistics are astonishing. 58% of children raised in Christian homes leave the church or Christianity altogether by the age of 30. Most of them never return. Rather than debating all the reasons why they left, I want to give you some advice as to how to keep your children from rebelling against God or their parents in the first place. Rebellion against God and parents is relatively a new thing. Historically, the majority of teenagers were not caricatured as belligerent and disobedient. Parents need not resign themselves to this. Teens experimenting with sex and drugs and distancing themselves from their parents' values is not inevitable. So many parents today seem to fall into the cultural assembly line of allowing your children to basically raise themselves. Parents need to wake up and pay attention, seek and listen to advice, and then have the courage to act in behalf of what is right for your children. Of the many things we could focus on, this is a very important one, and I can assure you one you don't want to hear. Be your child's hero. Children want to respect and love their parents. It's instinctual, and when kids know you love them, they don't rebel. But wait, I'm not talking about being their friend or pal, that kind of love, and I'm not referring to a tough love where your kids see you as an authority. I want to zero in on something very specific, something that will almost guarantee that your kids will not rebel as teenagers. Love your children by being their hero. And while this is great for moms, it is even more effective when dads do it. Fathers need to be Christian heroes where their children can see it, feel it, and understand it. Be the cross for your children. Most kids' maturity will not allow them to understand what Christ did on the cross for them. So children need to see their father's sacrifice for them to the point that it hurts. Kids need to see dad struggle and sacrifice to provide for them. Here is the problem with today's culture. We don't live in an agrarian system where kids watch their dads out in the fields sweating until after dark, worrying and giving up their time, strength, and desires for their children and to provide for their families. We have two huge hurdles to provide this in today's culture. One, dads work away from the kids, so there's very little opportunity for them to see the sacrifices dad makes. Two, we live in such a wealthy, materialistic culture that dads don't often have to sacrifice basic necessities for the kids. Kids watch as their parents get a new car, or dad is working overtime so they can take an expensive vacation. They often do see sacrifices for money, but rarely can they equate that with sacrifices for them. We are so busy buying luxury items that we don't ever really have to sacrifice much for our children, at least that they can see. Dad is at liberty to be the jokester rather than the provider. And I want to be clear about what I'm not talking about. Parents who continually sacrifice what they need for what children want are doing a great disservice to them. That makes them spoiled. Only on very rare occasions should children see a parent sacrifice what the parent needs for what the child wants. Be overly cautious about not doing that. Many kids simply do not see the serious love of sacrifice from their parents because parents don't really have to sacrifice. In this sense, the poorer countries actually have an advantage as parents. Parents need to show the sacrifice of the cross personally to their children. Then teach the children both through words and actions to notice and appreciate their parents' sacrifice. They need to both see and understand the sacrifices that are joyfully made for them, just as Christ joyfully went to the cross for us, even if it was excruciatingly painful. Now, let me give you some examples of what I mean. Dad and Mom could make a financial sacrifice so Mom could stay home and maybe add homeschooling to that suggestion. Dad quits his job when he is asked to compromise his faith or morals, and the kids see and experience Dad doing the right thing, even when there is suffering. Dad is mocked for refusing to join in inappropriate situations or jokes with other men. Kids see Dad refusing to watch other women and protect their mother with radical faithfulness. Dad gives up watching sports or other free time when he needs to relax to help their mother or the children next door or even them. There are many things along this line that you can think of to fit your situation. But when Dad or Mom is a child's hero, a child is much less likely to give up on God or rebel as a teenager. For more Morning Thoughts by Teresa Beam, go to sunbeamproductions.com. Thank you and have a blessed day.